I'll never forget that Monday morning, the day I first walked into Ellison Tech's headquarters, feeling like I'd spent my whole life preparing for this role. But within 5 minutes, I already knew I'd be spending most of my energy just proving I belonged in the room. The lobby smelled like fresh paint and old money, giant glass walls, polished marble, all those perfect people in tailored suits moving like they already owned the future. I stood at the reception desk, clutching my employee badge, but the receptionist barely glanced at me. Ashley, her nameplate said, 20-something, all blonde hair and bored eyes. She looked me up and down and said, "Deliveries go around back, sweetie." The way she said sweetie, I should have snapped back, but I just smiled, handed her my badge, told her I was here for my first day as senior product manager. She froze for a second, then plastered on this fake smile, like she was trying to recover but couldn't quite hide the surprise or the annoyance. "Oh, you're Danielle. Well, okay then. Take a seat. Someone will be with you." She didn't offer coffee or ask about my weekend like she had with the two guys before me. Just went back to tapping her phone, eyes darting to the door like she hoped I'd vanish. I sat there, counting the seconds, pretending not to hear the whispers or the sideways looks. When my new mentor, Lauren, showed up, mid-40s, tight bun, that particular kind of smile white women in management always seem to give black women. She greeted me with, "Welcome aboard. I'm sure you'll learn a lot here." It sounded like a warning. She didn't shake my hand, just told me to follow her, then introduced me to the team with a quick, "This is Danielle, our new diversity hire. Sorry, I mean product manager." There were a few awkward laughs. I wanted to sink through the floor, but I forced myself to smile, say hi, try to make eye contact. Matt, the lead developer, was the only one who met my eyes. A white guy, about my age, too confident, already smirking, and he said, "Let us know if you need help figuring out the coffee machine." A couple people snickered. I laughed too. What else could I do? But that was the moment I realized. These people already had a box to put me in, and I was going to have to break my way out, one awkward joke at a time. By lunchtime, the team had planned a welcome lunch. I stood up, started to gather my things, but Lauren leaned over and whispered, "Sorry, Danielle. It's just for the engineering leads. We'll grab you next time." She flashed that tight-lipped smile again, as if she was doing me a favor. So I ate my sandwich alone in the break room, pretending not to care, scrolling through old messages from friends back in San Francisco. When I went to the restroom, I heard Ashley's voice echoing off the tiles, talking to Lauren. "She doesn't look like management material to me. Honestly, if they wanted to fill a quota, they could have picked someone who fit in a little better." Lauren just laughed. "She'll be gone by Christmas, trust me. They always crack." I stared at myself in the mirror, angry tears threatening to spill. I wanted to march out there, throw my degree in their faces, my MIT diploma, my years at 2 top startups, but I just stood there, letting the anger turn into something cold and solid inside me. When I got back to my desk, I found an email from HR, generic but pointed. "Reminder to keep your work area tidy and refrain from using the executive restroom." No one else got that email. I checked. The next morning, my computer password had been changed without warning. Matt helped me reset it, cracking jokes about tech support. Little things, all day, every day. Side comments, invitations accidentally forgotten. Work I did disappearing from shared drives. Every meeting, Matt talked over me. Lauren assigned me useless admin tasks. even though I was supposed to be leading the product vision. If I pushed back, I was aggressive. If I didn't, I was passive. I could see the unspoken questions in their eyes. How did she get here? Who did she know? What box did she check? And it burned. Still, I did the work. I did more than the work. I stayed late, triple-checking every document, recording every email. I saw Matt taking credit for my analysis in meetings, Lauren rephrasing my ideas as her own when speaking to the higher-ups. I swallowed my anger and made sure every decision was documented, every number traceable. I'd learned long ago that in rooms like these, it wasn't enough to be good. You had to be undeniable. But still, it stung. Sometimes I'd come home and just sit in my car for 20 minutes, fists clenched, just breathing. I didn't want to be the angry black woman. I didn't want to play into their expectations. But sometimes, God, I was furious. Then came the Shark Tank announcement, an open call for big, risky ideas. $20 million in company funding, the chance to lead your own team, present to the executive board. Anyone could apply, but everyone knew only insiders ever got picked. Matt and Lauren started plotting their pitch instantly. They left me off the first few planning emails. Sorry, must have been a spam filter. But I played along, let them think I didn't notice. Quietly, I started working on my own pitch, nights and weekends, research and market data, designing prototypes at my kitchen table. I didn't tell anyone, not even Tom, the only VP who'd ever bothered to learn my name. A Vietnamese-American guy who kept to himself, but always seemed to notice when I was left out. One night, well past 9, I caught Lauren standing by the printer copying my project notes. She froze, stammered something about team alignment, then hurried off. I snapped a photo, sent myself a time-stamped email. I was done being silent. Still, every day was another humiliation. Matt would crack jokes during meetings, dropping little bombs like, well, if Danielle thinks it's a good idea, as if my opinion was a punchline. Once, in a crowded conference room, he actually said, maybe we should get some real feedback before we roll this out. The laughter that followed felt like it went on forever. A week before the pitch deadline, I got a message. Tom, the VP, asking if I was submitting. I hesitated. He left a sticky note on my monitor the next day. I see you. Don't let them shrink you. That night, I stayed up till dawn, rewriting my entire proposal. I thought about quitting. I thought about fighting back. In the end, I just kept working. I knew what I was building was better, and if no one wanted to see it, I was going to make them. Pitch day. The whole company gathered in the auditorium, hundreds of people, cameras, the board, the CEO, the press. Matt and Lauren went first, strutting on stage, wowing the audience with big promises, half of which I recognized as my own ideas, twisted just enough to sound different. When they finished, there was polite applause. I felt my stomach twist as I walked on stage, people whispering, barely looking up from their phones. I introduced myself, laid out my vision step by step. The numbers, the strategy, the gaps in our product line. I showed them the customer research no one else had bothered to do. I told a story about a kid in Detroit, about my own mom struggling with outdated tech, about the markets we kept ignoring because no one at the table looked like them. I could feel the room shift. At first, just a few people looking up. Then silence. Then even the CEO sat forward, squinting at the screen. Matt tried to derail me, tossing out a loaded question about implementation. "That's a great point, Matt," I said, "and as you'll see on slide 12, the roadmap's already covered that. In fact, your last product review recommended a similar approach." He turned red. The board members glanced at each other. Someone from the back, one of the junior engineers, started clapping. Then more people joined in. I finished, thanked everyone, and walked off stage, heart hammering, legs shaking. I didn't know if I'd just killed my career or saved it. 48 hours later, everything changed. The board called an emergency meeting. The CEO, Richard Walker, a man who'd barely acknowledged my existence, invited me to his office. He apologized. He actually apologized, said the board was shocked by the way my ideas had been buried, that the internal audit I'd started had revealed all kinds of mess. Emails, Slack messages, Lauren and Matt taking credit for my work, HR complaints buried by management. Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk to me. HR launched an official investigation. Matt was suspended on the spot, escorted out by security, his face pale and stunned. Lauren tried to apologize, swore it was all a misunderstanding, but nobody believed her. She was sent home pending further review. Ashley, the receptionist, avoided my eyes for days, suddenly all polite, calling me Ms. Harper every time I passed. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't throw a party. I just felt tired and maybe a little bit free. The CEO announced the company was launching my project, and I'd be leading the team. He promised sweeping changes, mandatory bias training, open reporting channels, a real commitment to diversity that didn't just mean stock photos on the website. I was asked to speak at the next all-hands, but I kept it brief. I told the truth. I was proud of the work, but no one should have to fight this hard just to be heard. I didn't name names. I didn't gloat. I let the facts speak for themselves. In the weeks that followed, the company made headlines, not just for the new product, but for the shakeup in leadership, the public commitment to fixing what was broken. Matt's suspension became permanent. He vanished from LinkedIn, his reputation in shambles. Lauren tried to salvage her career, but the audit trail was too clear. She was let go, quietly, with a severance package that wouldn't buy back her dignity. Ashley's contract wasn't renewed. New faces started appearing in meetings, people who looked like me, who brought new ideas and weren't afraid to speak up. Tom stopped by my office one afternoon, grinning. "Told you they'd see you eventually." I just smiled, thanked him, and turned back to my work. I never got an apology from most of them. I never really expected one. But every day I walked through that lobby, I felt something shift. People made eye contact. They nodded. Sometimes they even smiled. I didn't need to gloat. I didn't need revenge. I'd already won the only battle that mattered. And I knew, deep down, that none of them would ever forget my name again. I left that job a year later, on my own terms, for something bigger, taking with me the lesson that being underestimated is the sharpest weapon of all. And I never let anyone put me in a box again.